Welcome to Project HQ, where your success in project management begins. Are you ready to master project management? Our professional Scrum Master training equips you with agile expertise and hands-on Jira skills. Dive into real-world scenarios with us and step into the industry with confidence. Meet Toyin Papula, our expert agile coach and PMP pro. Experience hands-on training with essential tools and best practices. Now hear what our students have to say about their journey at Project HQ.
He always uses day-to-day activities and things that we do on a day-to-day basis to incorporate that into Prince 2.
He's got in-depth knowledge of project management methodologies and Scrum, and he's got excellent communication, presentation skills. The classes are very engaging and interactive.
Let's take a listen to our podcast, breaking down the key takeaways from a Scrum class.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We are diving deep today, and we're tackling something super important in the world of software development.
Yeah, it's foundational.
It is, and that is the product backlog.
Ooh, I like that.
The product backlog. And we're basing this deep dive on a training session that we watched by Toyin Papula.
Toyin Papula, wonderful.
Yeah. So, you're probably thinking like backlog was a big deal. Everybody's got a to-do list, right?
Right.
But the thing is, a product backlog is so much more than just a to-do list.
Yeah, it's like, you've got your to-do list for just everyday life, but when you're talking about building software, it's a very different animal.
It really is.
Yeah.
So we want to really help you guys understand what a product backlog is and how it is used to really guide a software project.
Yeah.
From just an idea.
Yeah, from just like an inkling of a concept.
Totally.
Yeah.
To a fully functional piece of software.
Yeah, and it's not just a list that's written at the beginning and then just adhered to like religiously.
No.
It's something that's constantly changing.
Absolutely, yeah. Toyin talks about that. She calls it a living document.
Yes, living.
So, let's jump in.
Let's do it.
What is a product backlog?
So a product backlog, basically, it's a prioritized wish list for your software product.
Yeah.
It's got to include everything. From the big flashy features that everyone's going to see and be excited about,
Right.
to all those nitty-gritty technical tasks.
Yeah.
The stuff that nobody really wants to think about, but is absolutely crucial for making the software work.
Yes. And it includes all different types of items, right? Like it's not just a list of like features.
So you're going to have user stories in there, which are basically mini narratives, right? That describe how a user interacts with the system.
I like to think of them as like a day in the life of the user.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it helps the team understand, what's the goal of this particular functionality? Why is the user even in the system to begin with?
Yes.
You've got those functional requirements, which are very specific things the software must do.
Right.
And then you've got your technical tasks, things like API integrations, database, schema design, all that fun stuff.
And it sounds like you've got a lot of people involved.
Yeah.
Who are the key players when you're talking about a product backlog?
So you've got your product owner.
Okay.
They are the champion for the user. They understand the market. They have the vision for what this product needs to be.
Visionary.
Yeah. And then you have the development team,
Okay.
which are the skilled craftspeople who are going to bring that vision to life.
All right. So you got your vision, you've got your team, you've got your backlog, but how do you decide like what gets done first?
Oh, man.
That's got to be one of the most important things.
Yeah, that is the question, right? So that is where prioritization comes in.
Good.
So the product owner, right, often in collaboration with the development team, is
Oh.
going to rank each item
Okay.
in the backlog
Got it.
based on a number of factors.
Yes.
So the business value, how much value does this particular item bring to the business?
Right.
The impact on the user. How much are users clamoring for this particular feature?
Yes.
How delightful is it going to be? And then also technical feasibility.
Okay.
Can we even build this thing?
Yeah.
Do we have the technical chops?
Right.
And so the high priority items are going to bubble up to the top of the backlog,
Right.
and that's going to guide the team's focus.
So it's kind of like building a house.
All right.
Right. Like you can't put the roof on
Exactly.
before you have the walls.
Yeah. You got to build the foundation first.
Okay. So we talked about how it's a living document.
Yeah.
So it's not static. So what does that mean? How does it stay so dynamic?
Well, that's where refinement comes in.
Okay.
So refinement is this ongoing process
Right.
of keeping the backlog up to date and relevant.
Oh.
As the team learns more, maybe they get feedback from users, they do some testing, maybe the market shifts.
Right.
The backlog needs to reflect that.
So items might be added to the backlog, items might be removed from the backlog, items might be completely rewritten,
Wow.
right, to make sure that the project is still on track and meeting the needs of the users and the business.
So refinement is happening all the time.
All the time. And then you've got your grooming sessions,
Okay.
which are more like a regular checkup
Okay.
for your backlog.
Got it.
This is where the team gets together. They review items in the backlog, they clarify any ambiguities, make sure everybody understands what is meant by a particular user story or requirement,
Right.
and they just make sure that the backlog is in tip-top shape.
So that everyone is on the same page.
Yeah.
And it's clean.
It's clean. It's clean. Lean and mean.
Mean.
Mean, exactly.
I like that.
So Toyin gave some great examples of how this works in the real world.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yes. Can you walk us through those examples?
Sure. So let's say you're building a mobile app for ordering food.
Oh, I like that idea. Right. Everybody loves ordering food.
Yes.
So your initial backlog,
Right.
right, might include things like user registration and login, restaurant search and filtering, menu display,
Yeah.
order placement and checkout,
Right.
payment integration,
Right.
maybe a really cool order tracking feature.
I love a good order tracker.
Who doesn't?
Right.
But you wouldn't try to build all of these things at once.
Right.
That would be madness.
No.
So the core functionality, things like registration, search, and menu display, those are probably going to be prioritized first.
Yeah. You need to get the basics down first.
You got to build those building blocks, and then you can move on to some of the bells and whistles later.
That makes total sense.
Makes sense. So what about another example?
Yeah. So you mentioned building an e-commerce website. Let's talk about that one.
So if we're talking about building an online store, maybe selling clothing and accessories, your backlog might include things like creating a product catalog, designing the shopping cart experience, implementing a secure checkout process,
Yeah.
figuring out payment processing, setting up systems for order fulfillment, customer account management.
So many things.
It's a lot. And again, the initial focus would probably be on enabling sales. So product catalog, the shopping cart, that checkout process, those are likely to be top priorities.
Yeah, you got to be able to sell the stuff.
Exactly. You got to get that money coming in. So you prioritize those things first.
So now that we've talked about all of that, what are some key takeaways that you had from Toyin?
Yeah, so Toyin had some really great points. We already mentioned how the product backlog is a living document.
Yes.
Right? So it's not just something you write once and forget about it.
No.
It requires regular grooming.
Yeah, like a pet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like a pet, you got to feed it, you got to, take care of it.
Take it to the vet.
Make sure it's healthy, exactly, to stay relevant. And it's not just the product owner's responsibility.
Right.
This is a team effort.
Yes.
So the whole team needs to be involved in refining and updating the backlog.
Yeah, because everybody has different perspectives to
Exactly.
contribute.
And, the developers might have some insights that the product owner doesn't have, and vice versa.
Totally.
So it's really important to get everybody's input. And, clarity. Clarity is paramount.
Yes.
The backlog should be easily understood by everyone on the team.
Right.
That means clear and concise descriptions, plain language, no technical jargon.
Yes.
It's got to be clear to everybody.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to have problems. People are going to be confused. They're not going to be on the same page.
Exactly.
You're going to waste time and money.
It's all about making sure everybody's working towards that same goal.
All right. So that was all great information, but let's talk to our listener for a second.
Yeah.
What does all this mean for you?
Right. How can you take these principles of backlog management and apply them to your life?
It's right. And it doesn't even have to be in software development.
Right.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Think about your to-do list.
Yeah.
Think about a project plan you have at work
Right.
and ask yourself, what is the one thing that I could prioritize more effectively?
Yeah. That's a great question. And, maybe it's not even about prioritizing. Maybe it's just about breaking down those big tasks into smaller chunks,
Right.
because we all have those overwhelming tasks that we just keep putting off
Yeah.
because they just seem too big.
Yeah.
So how can you break that down, make it more manageable,
And get people involved.
get other people involved?
Yeah.
That's really, I think, the beauty of the product backlog concept is that it's adaptable. You
Right.
can use it in any context.
It's a framework.
It's a framework for clarity, prioritization, and continuous improvement.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so cool how a concept from software development
can be used
Yeah.
in so many other areas.
Absolutely.
And that's just the beginning.
That's just scratching the surface.
There's so much more to learn.
Yeah,
And we encourage you guys to keep exploring
definitely.
and figure out how these principles can help you in your own work.
Absolutely.
All right, that is it for our deep dive today.
Thanks for listening.
We hope you enjoyed it.
See you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
For more information, contact us at info@projecthq.live or call +474 158 79219. Visit our website, www.projecthq.live. Join Project HQ today, and let's begin your path to project management excellence.